What's up, y'all? This is Brave, and I'm back with another review of Ready to Love. I know there is a delay on this review being posted, but legit, I recorded this like 3 times, okay? But baby, it's gonna work this time because I still have opinions that need to be said, okay? Alright, so this is season 10, episode 6, I believe. And let's get into it. First of all, why is this show being broken up? It makes absolutely no sense that we are going to separate a season of Ready to Love. I understand it when it comes to the reality shows that are like Love and Marriage Huntsville. I get it because sometimes y'all be giving them like 30 episodes and you want to break that up. I get that. But a dating show, for real, makes absolutely no sense. But let's go ahead and get right into this review, y'all. We pick up where we left off. We find out that Coley and Rocky, they went home. Okay? I had a feeling that they were going to go home because they had no connections at that point. Sahara is in her feelings. I think that Sahara has the right to be in her feelings because if we want to be completely honest, everything that Cam is saying to her that she needs to be more open and she needs to do this and do that, let's cut the bullshit. It does not matter what Sahara does. The guys don't like her. They think she's ghetto. They think that she like, some hood girl. And that's not the type of woman that they want to date. It doesn't matter if that girl has the heart of gold. It does not matter. She could be the sweetest person. Like, seriously. However, that is just not who they want to date. They've already made it in their minds. We are 6 episodes in. I don't think any guy on this show is going to have a change of heart when it comes to Sahara. I really don't. And this has nothing to do with her. You know what I'm saying? It's just that people gravitate towards their preference. And that happens every time on this show. Usually, the girls who are plus size, if you are deemed a little bit more ghetto, they're not checking for you. Let's call a thing here. When it comes to the women, usually there's a specific type of woman that the guys are looking for on this show. So, that does not mean that Sahara don't deserve love, though. Anyways, she wants to wrap this whole scene up, okay? She ready to go home, and Cam is still trying to act like this is a real date. See, here's my thing about Cam. Anytime that people have had elimination rounds, usually we just kind of cut the scene and move on. But I understand where you're coming from because you and Sahara have not really had any one-on-one time. I just don't think that this was the time. I'm sorry. You should have told... Matter of fact, Cam, you should have told them, since y'all want her going so bad, how about it be somebody else have a conversation with Sahara instead of it only being me? Like, I just feel like Sahara needed to take a breath because at the end of the day, girl, Cam still likes you. It looks like Jay is feeling her. I'm not really sure. I don't know if he treating her like a homegirl, but low-key flirting with her or what. I'm not sure. But we're going to see what happens in the summertime between Jay and Sahara. But nonetheless, that pretty much wraps that up. We get to the ladies' lounge. The ladies are told to take your second option, number 2, on a date. Okay, cool. Let's see who people are feeling and let's see how these dates go. First of all, we see Deanna. This is the first time that we're going to see Deanna on a solo date, right? She's there with Hussein. They go horseback riding. Baby, this right here let me know we were in for a rude awakening when it came to Deanna because she made sure she got the bigger horse. I said, girl, why are you doing power plays with a man? Who could possibly be your man? Why did you need to get the bigger horse? It doesn't make sense considering he's a bigger guy. Okay, that was one thing. Then they talk about deal breakers, right? They talk about how she feels like communication is a big thing. Now, before this man can say anything about communication, she cuts him off, okay? That man started off by saying, in my past, I was, and boom, she cut him off. It was like, yeah, I don't think that you're a communicator. I'm like, damn, girl. Did you have to cut him off? Let the man finish his sentence. I feel like she had a lot of, what's the word? She had a lot of assumptions about this man and was not allowing him to speak. I was like, Deanna, what are we doing right now? So then she talks about how work is her first priority and how basically she feels like because she's a firefighter, that justifies everything else, including her man, being put on the back burner. I said, okay, Deanna, I really thought I was going to like you, but I see that you're the type of person that because of your profession and because of your title, you think that puts you on a pedestal. And baby, that's not how life works. I understand where Hussein was trying to come from. He was trying to explain to her, listen, it doesn't matter if you're a firefighter, if you work at an office, even though she's the one who brought it up. She's the one who said, it's not like I have a desk job. His point was, it does not matter what your profession is. At some point, your man, your family, the things that matter the most to you, that should come first. And here's the thing. If you gonna put your career first, I don't know how many other people are going to want to date you and get really, really serious with you, because you're always going to put your career above them. And people don't want to feel like that. People do not want to feel like they're number 2, 3, 5, 7, 9 on your list, especially if they're supposed to be your partner. Baby, by the end of this date, they both figured out they are not compatible. Honestly, I don't know why this episode was titled The Nudist. It should have been called We Ain't Compatible, because we had more people on this episode that realized they were not compatible than any other season I've ever seen. We're going to move on over to Tay, though. She invites Naeem over, right? I said, oh, okay. So Naeem is the same guy who was trying to give yo number one a pep talk, yet he's on your couch. Okay. Now, first, Tay, I'm not even gonna hold you. I don't want to say that you have bad taste in men, but you just have interesting choices. Because first we had broke Cisco, and now we got 5 kids, Naeem. Like, baby, these are choices. These are choices. And what's pissing me off is the fact that you're talking about oh yeah, the thing about Naeem, I was kind of nervous that he had 5 kids, but I know that he's a good father. How? How the fuck do you know that? Because you don't know this man. You know what he's telling you about these kids. You don't know if he trying to play daddy of the year right now, but he was trash for like the first 16 years. We don't know. First of all, we don't even know how old these kids are. Secondly, we don't know how involved he was in his kid's life. We don't know that. This man has yet to express what has happened, what has transpired between him and his baby mamas. What the relationship like is with all the kids. He ain't explained shit, okay? The only thing we know about him is that he owns a gym. He has 5 kids. The baby mamas is cool at this point. We don't know what drama happened in the past. That's all we know. We don't know nothing about this man. So, nonetheless, when it comes to their date, first of all, she almost had a nip slip when she was over there trying to get some food out the container. Secondly, they start answering questions, right? They were sitting on the couch answering questions about each other. And the first question that was asked of her was something about her watching some adult entertainment. Who the fuck wrote these questions? How was that the first question? Then the next question was if she wanted a long-term relationship. Oh, Jesus. Let me hold it together. Why in the world would she be on this goddamn show if she did not want a long-term relationship? Like, what the fuck are we watching? Y'all, am I growing crazy? I don't think that I am, okay? Then she up in her confessional talking about how, oh my gosh, I really like Cisco, but now I like Naeem. What the hell happened to Khalil? Khalil completely disappeared, didn't he? Is he not on the roster anymore? Because I don't know how Naeem squeezed in. I don't know how him and that bun squeezed in above Khalil. It don't even make no sense. But we're going to go ahead and move on. We see Shanice and Cisco. You know what? I'm trying to understand Shanice. When I tell y'all I'm a little bit confused, actually, no, I'm a whole lot of confused. Here's the thing. She comes in with this pink lace outfit, something that you definitely would get out of like Fashion Nova. Okay, this girl is the Fashion Nova queen. I need to figure out, how is it that she got all these businesses? She's supposed to be helping people rehabilitate and all these things, but she is dressing like this. Like, you have no appropriate clothing. That's a little cringe. Actually, that's a whole lot of cringe. Ma'am, you're like 44 years old. No, 42, I think. You're 42 years old. You have no decent outfits. That's crazy to me. And I'm not trying to judge her, because listen, she got a body on her. That's cool. But it's like, you're dressing like you're 22. And you're not, baby. You're not. And that's okay. But like, the outfits that she be picking, I'm just like, girl, what else do you have to offer? Nonetheless, they go body painting, right? Now, he has on shorts. Okay, cool. However, what does she have on? She's completely nude. And when I say completely nude, she's completely nude. Like, she didn't even have on panties, y'all. I don't think that she had on panties, because the way it was blurred out, like, usually if a person has on underwear, you can see like the string of the thong or something. Baby, there was nothing there. And I'm just like, girl, what was the reason? You could have absolutely had on like a little bikini and we could have been done. You could have had on a string bikini. He could have painted your ass. I don't really care, but it's just giving you're thirsting. You're thirsting right now. And I'm not understanding why. So they have a conversation. To me, the conversation did not match the fact that she was nude. But nonetheless, she does let him know that she's like a nudist. She doesn't wear clothes at her house. And good for her. They talk about how at some point he felt like he was unworthy of love, but now he's open to it. I mean, I think he needs to be open to getting a second job first, but we're going to let him rock. She says that, she's very supportive and she wants him to find love on this journey. And again, I've mentioned this previously. I personally feel like Cisco and Shanice may be a better match because she's been broke before. She knows what it's like to not have and have to rebuild yourself back up. I think that she's going to handle him with a little bit more care than Tay will. I think Tay is only going to tolerate his brokenness for so long. And I'm going to get to why I think that a little bit later when they go on a date. So, after this, I feel like the scene got really choppy, okay? Because 1 minute they talking, there's paint there. The next minute they're talking, there's no paint in that spot. I'm like, okay, whatever, okay? They both seem to enjoy the date. All right, cool. We're going to go ahead and move on. So, we see Hussein. He goes on a date with Rose, okay? And to me, I do like Rose and Hussein a little bit better than Rose and Cam, okay? We basically learned that in his teen years, he had to live in a group home, okay? I don't know what exactly happened with his family, but basically he had to live in a group home from the time he was about 13 years old till he got to college. Then for Rose to come back and say, oh my gosh, I have a similar story because I had to grow up in a foster home. I think she said it until she was like 11 years old. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, at this point, we trauma bonded because y'all both have been through a heavy amount of trauma that is life altering, okay? To 1 minute be in foster homes and foster care and group homes and you with all different types of people. We don't know what they may have gone through while they were in those situations. And for him to, at his adult age, try to rebuild a relationship with his family. And then for her, she did get her family back when she was in her preteens. But it's still a lot of trauma that happened. So at this point, she asks him about children because we all know she has one child who's almost an adult. I gotta say that. And she basically says that, she wants more kids. However, she has had a few miscarriages. So what are his thoughts on adopting? And he's like all for adopting kids, right? Okay, cool. He open to it. I feel like these two they may have a lot more to talk about, okay? I think that there's something there when it comes to Hussein and Rose, especially considering they both kind of have that same mellow vibe, but we'll see what happens. Now, moving on, we see Angela and Eddie go out to a restaurant, right? Now, here's the thing. He gets her a gift. It's like some journals and like some books or whatever. I'm like, okay, that's really thoughtful. So then she ends up asking him about, what's his favorite thing about her. He said that she was a mother. I'm sorry. Anytime a man says, I love that you're a mother, that's a fucking red flag for me. I don't know why. I don't have kids, but there is something about whenever a man says, oh, it's because you're a mother. That's a red flag for me, because I'm like, of all the qualities, you can say that I'm thoughtful, I'm caring, I'm smart, I'm something. But I'm so much more than just a mother. Also, are you looking for a mother? Why did you say that? Yeah, I don't like that. So then they start talking about deal breakers, right? Okay, cool. So he says that he don't like women who like to argue, and he don't like women who don't like to clean. But this is where things get a little tricky for me. When he's saying that he wants a woman that likes to clean, he literally means like clean up after him. I'm like, now hold on, Eddie. Wait a second, buddy. Because he basically feels like that's the woman's role. And I'm like, oh, I thought you meant like you just want a woman who's more of like a neat freak because you like to keep the house clean. No, it's because he wants you to clean up after him. No, baby, that ain't gonna work. So then he goes on to talk about how is she with her exes? And she's like, yeah, I'm still cool with all my exes. And then she goes on to admit that she has a guy friend who is practically her best friend at this point. They have tried to be intimate in the past, but that did not work out. And that's still her best friend to this day. And according to Eddie, he feels some type of way. Here's my question. And I feel like what's bothering me is that sometimes the way these people are acting on this show is if they are 20 years old, okay? Yet they are in their 30s and 40s. I'm sorry, the way you operate in your 20s is a little bit different than how you operate in your 40s. For me, my question is, when did she try to hook up with this dude? Because if this is one of her friends that she's known for like 20 fucking years, keep that nigga. That is your friend, okay? If y'all tried to mess around when y'all was in college or something and it didn't work out, however, y'all still kept a good rapport, he always been down for you, I personally don't believe in getting rid of long-standing relationships as far as friendships go because you get a partner. That is crazy to me, because you can always break up with your partner, but that was your friend. That was your dog. That was the person who was really rocking with you before this person came along. So because he feels like she needs to cut her friend off, at this point she's realized she don't want to be with Eddie. And here's my thing. You should have realized that when he said, I'm 31 and you said you were 40. We could have went on ahead and nipped this right on in the bud. She's not compatible with him either. Moving on from there, we see Rose and Fritz. They go-kart riding. I said, okay, never knew that y'all even looked each other's way. But if this is what y'all want to do, okay, cool. So, at this point, again, we have a conversation about the fact that she already is a mom and she wants kids. I'm just like, girl, what else do you have to talk about? Like, what else is going on? Is that your only concern? Is being a mother your only identity? Like, I'm just trying to understand. So then, here's the thing. She goes on to be like, oh, so, if I can't have any more kids, are you willing to adopt? And he's like, I mean, we could always use a surrogate. And she's like, oh, no, that ain't gonna work because ain't nobody carrying my babies. I said, oh, okay. So we see a whole different side of Rose when you bring up a surrogate. Girl, relax. And what's crazy to me is that I don't even like Fritz, okay? But he did bring up a good point. You mean to tell me that you want me to come in and be a stepdaddy to your child, but you are absolutely refusing the idea of a surrogate? And I get it. Some women feel like, there's not going to be a connection between her and that baby. But at the same time, especially if you're using your egg and his sperm, baby, that's your baby. Like, what are we talking about? So, at this point, she feels some type of way. But I do understand where Fritz is coming from because he does not have children. Now, if he wants his own biological children, baby, it may not be with Rose. Because if she cannot get pregnant, that ain't gonna work for y'all. So, we learned that they're what? Not compatible. Let's move on because we have Tay going on a date with Cisco. This is their first solo date. She teaches him how to use chopsticks. And they talk about the fact that this man is not in the right place to be dating. However, okay, he is still saying that he knows what he has to do and he has to put in more effort because he knows that she loves to travel and do all these things. Sir, I feel like at this point you're all talk. I really do. Because when that man said, with the support though, I'ma go harder. What does that even mean? I need for her to ask him, and what does go harder mean? Like, I'm not trying to be too hard on this man. Y'all know that I'm not. But I'm just trying to understand what does go harder look like. You know what I'm saying? And when it comes to Tay, I feel like Tay is not going to tolerate not being able to go travel the world and do all the fun things that she wants to do because you are not where you need to be financially. Like, if you got time to work out at the gym, baby, maybe you need to go be a trainer, okay? Maybe you need to spend some time, get a training gig while you got your other job. Like, stack your money, baby. So then she goes on to talk about how she was abandoned by her father. And he says that he only met his dad, I think, twice or something like that. And here's the thing. Neither one of them told each other about the date that they had earlier, okay? He ain't mentioned nothing about Shanice being butt naked. And she ain't mentioned nothing about Naeem practically rubbing her toes. I said, oh, okay, y'all not gonna say nothing? Cool. Let's just go ahead and move on. So we get to the vault. And Tay, she talks about her date and how she got lost in both of these men's eyes. And then we have Shanice. She talks about her date with Cisco. And she tells everybody how it was such a good time. You know, they were body painting. And somebody happened to ask, so did y'all have clothes on? And she's like, no, you guys know that I'm a nudist. And this is where things got weird for me. She's like, why are y'all so shocked? Y'all have seen me naked before. Where? Bitch, where? What are y'all doing that they saw you naked? I'm sorry, that's a little too random for me. When was y'all all kicking it and they saw you naked? Because there is nothing that we've seen that requires you to not have clothes on. Not even the body painting. Okay? So, what was everybody doing? Was anybody else naked? What was going on? I'm just curious. Nonetheless, I'm going to leave that alone. Tay is feeling some type of way. Okay? Because she heard that her man, Cisco, was looking at Shanice's naked body. So, you already know that at some point in the summer, we gonna probably hear about them having a conversation. All right, cool. So, moving on from that, we get to who they don't like, right? This is where things heat up. Deanna says Hussein because he compared being a firefighter to a desk job. Girl, you gave no context, and that's not exactly what he was trying to do, okay? So then Rose, on the other hand, she's like, well, I'm connecting with him, and we had a really good time. Now, Angie talks about Eddie. Now, of course, at this point, she's realized that Eddie ain't for her because their non-negotiables don't align. Here we go with Tay. She's saying that he's still in his partying phase. And I'm just like, girl, he's 31 years old. Like, I would not exactly say that he's in a partying phase as if he's still in college. But he might want to, go out, have some drinks, have a good time. That's normal for a 30-year-old to do. So then she's like, yeah, but like things with him, it just like gets really sexual. And I'm like, what did he say that got sexual? Because let's not forget that the guy you were just on a date with, Naeem, he just asked you about what type of videos you be watching when you be alone in your room by yourself, girl. And you know the type of videos that I'm talking about. Not only that, there has been multiple times when sexualized type questions have been brought up. So what exactly did Eddie do to make things seem sexual to you? And listen, I'm not trying to, act like he didn't do it. I'm just trying to figure out what evidence supports that, because we have yet to see it. So then Sahara, she talks about how Eddie is her least connection and she doesn't feel like he's there for love. Deanna jumps in, and of course she about to defend Eddie because she has a connection with him. Then Kiara, she says that she's not feeling Mr. Poly Lifestyle, aka Fritz. And Sahara, she goes on to talk about how she not feeling Fritz either. Here's the thing. What Sahara said was factual. She may be ghetto, but that don't mean that she lying, okay? When she said Fritz tried to badmouth me in the last lounge, and then he had the audacity to call me trying to get a vote to make sure that he was still going to be around, I'm not understanding why Deanna cut in. You don't even like Fritz. So I'm not understanding why you are concerned about anything that Sahara and Fritz got going on. I don't care if she went on a date and she don't like that man. That's not my business. Why do you care? Then, out of nowhere, here comes, what's her name? Shanice. She wanted to defend Fritz as well because Sahara revealed that he said that he was playing in the beginning. But baby, the ladies don't believe her at all. And I'm just like, nothing that Sahara said was a lie. They even played the footage back. So y'all all gonna be looking kind of crazy when y'all try to keep him here. And really, he should be going home. So, in Shanice's confessional, though, she blatantly called Sahara a liar. Like, no, I don't understand why she's lying. And it's just like, girl, you've been manipulated. That man is manipulating you. And what bothered me was that Tommy jumped in and questioned why Sahara went on a date with Fritz, but did not jump in and say, you know what? There was a situation in the men's lounge where he was trying to get her out. Like, call a thing here. But, oh, my bad. It's the whole, what happens in the lounge stays in the lounge bullshit. Nonetheless, there are other ladies who are chiming in about how they don't like this man's poly lifestyle. And then here comes Rose. Y'all, why did Rose jump in talking about he has the audacity to want a surrogate? Ain't nobody else having my babies. Girl, we do not care. Chill out, okay? Scoot back. All right? So, at this point, Tommy has to tell them they're all on their own journey. All right, fine. We get to the elimination, right? Now, we see Sahara and Fritz, of course. My question is, why is Sahara the person that got to deliver this information? Doesn't make sense, but nonetheless, I have to agree with Sahara when she told Fritz that, listen, you did a lot when you was in that vault, and he absolutely did. Because let's be honest, he could have absolutely said, you know what? We realize we're not compatible, and we could have moved on from there. Okay? But that's not what he did. So, she ends up telling him that the ladies brought up this poly situation yet again. And again, Sahara is right because she tells him, listen, you are the one who fed into it. Okay? You thought it was joke, he, ha, ha. But now, because people are associating you with that, they don't want to be with you. So you should have cleared that shit up in the beginning. Okay? You needed to separate yourself from the poly lifestyle if that's not what you about. Okay? So he then goes on to apologize to Sahara, and she tells him that if he would have been open from the beginning, then they wouldn't be having this conversation. And I agree. Now, I'm going to hop on over to Eddie because he was up for elimination and he had a conversation with Rose. Now, this is what threw me off. She told him that the ladies feel like he's not serious. However, according to him, he feels like he's misunderstood. Then she goes on to say, the ladies mention that, you're flirtatious. And I'm just like, what else is he supposed to be? What is the problem with a man being flirtatious? Considering this is a dating show where all y'all want to date each other. It doesn't make sense, sweetheart. Then she says that he gives the same energy to everybody. Where? Where does he do that? He ain't never gave Sahara no play. Hell, he ain't never gave Rose no play. Whoever that man is interested in, for what we've seen, we notice. Coley, he was with Coley all the time. Angie, we saw him with Angie. We ain't never seen him in Kiara's face. We ain't never seen him in nobody else's face. Oh yeah, and he liked Deanna. I'm like, what the hell is she talking about? This season, when it comes to telling the people what they should be doing better, they not delivering the message right. Not at all. Then she goes on to talk about how, he be drinking on the show. Girl, I'm sorry, I'm with him. Y'all ain't never seen me drunk. What the fuck are we talking about, Rose? I'm confused. Like, at this point, we're nitpicking. It doesn't even make sense. Because I'm pretty sure everybody has had drinks on that show. I'm pretty sure of it. Because when we say who was drunk, baby, that was Coley. We ain't seen him drunk. When did that happen? But y'all, we ain't gonna find out who went home until they come back in the summer. Just a mess. And I kind of feel like it should be Fritz going home, but that's my opinion. Y'all let me know what y'all thought about this episode. Go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe to my channel, and I'll talk to y'all in my next review. Bye, guys.